It was always a when I get NAR, never an if, okay? So the fact that I kept it a when just made all of these stupid plus twos, all these lockups out of it. It's just a part of the process. Sometimes you have to be a little bit delusional because that allows you to foresee cool things happening that you might not be comfortable with visualizing if you're only being realistic. Going through that whole process of trying to get that record. It honestly gave me confidence. Like, no matter what I want to do, I can do it.
Matty Hiroto Inaba is the current North American record holder for the 3x3 and has been one of the top 3x3 solvers in the world for probably half a decade. In this conversation, we talk about his thoughts on the future of high-level speed cubing across all sorts of aspects, so I hope you enjoy it.
It's like 10. It's probably like 60 on this wall, and I have just some random stuff like these, like special edition. I don't know, probably like 200.
That's crazy. Over the years, it's all just piled up. Yeah. How long have you been with GAN?
I think 4.5 years. Like right at the start of COVID, I got sponsored. Yeah.
Was that before or after cubing at home performances?
After. That's why, like, they saw me using GAN there, so they contacted me like we want to work with you because you use GAN.
Cool.
Yeah.
So cubing at home is responsible, kind of.
Pretty much. And yeah, cubing at home. And Monkey League. I think Monkey League might have been a little after, but maybe before. I don't know. But those two were huge. Yeah.
I first found out about you on cubing at home. I think a lot of people did.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
How was your improvement speed before cubing at home versus after? Like, when did you notice your improvement really slowing down?
Oh, it definitely was slowing down at like the last seasons of Monkey League. I feel like keeping at home, I was improving rapidly because I was practicing so much. Like, I mean, not so much, but I was still doing deliberate practice at that point. Like, I was still trying to work out like drilling algs, learning new stuff, learning new F2L things. So definitely, first season of keeping home was like crazy improvement, and it was just like kind of it slowed down definitely. Definitely by the final season of keeping at home, which coincided with like the final seasons of Monkey League and stuff. Yeah.
Okay. So at this point, how much work do you think you need to do to maintain your skill as a cuber versus grow? Because the skill of maintenance and like working out is like a very low floor, but being able to grow muscle at an advanced level is very, very hard. So, like, where are you on the continuum of, like, I'm not getting worse versus I'm actually getting better?
I mean, I basically don't have to practice at all to keep my speed. Like, I mean, for the past semester, I haven't really done much practice. Like, if you average it out, it's literally only, like, 15 minutes a day just because I have to study so much. And during that time, I got my first NAR average. So, I mean, like, I would be comfortable to say I haven't improved much during that time period, but I didn't slow down. So I think my maintenance practice is basically zero. Like, I cannot practice and stay this speed forever, I feel like. But in terms of improvement, I like, it's kind of cool. Like, I've been starting to, I wasn't improving at all during the first semester of college, but I'm back at home and like, I've been trying to like study some Chinese solves and like incorporate, like, there's so many cool things to incorporate now. So I'm starting to feel the hint of like it's starting to go like this again a little bit. Just a little bit. Yeah.
Okay. This is something I'm so curious about. I was talking to Phil we did like a piece of content earlier today, and he was talking about at what point will all cubers solutions look the same? Like, if all the Chinese cubers all study super deeply, at what point does everyone become the same? And we were joking about how, well, the Chinese cubers all learned from you, and you talk about how you don't think too hard when you solve. So really nobody knows what they're doing. But you just said that you're starting to do intentional practice again. At this point, what are you doing deliberate, specific, focused practice to actually get better instead of just doing solves and entering flow state and all that?
Okay, so I definitely noticed like people tend to overlook how advanced like the Chinese kids' finger tricks are. Like, specifically like their combinations of like if you look like their pointer and middle finger combinations, like like fu or like this kind, like it's just like they do that so much on
Mm,
every
yeah.
solve. I've been I'm like a very old school finger tricker, like traditionally. So like I used to do a lot of like these like weird things. So I feel like I definitely am benefiting from cleaning those up and also incorporating some cool things like yeah, like just with the pointer middle finger shenanigans, right? So
Hmm. Hmm.
that's something I'm working on. And also just the pure like not so much Yihang because like Yihang basically does exactly what I do, but she's like I learn a lot from watching him solve specifically because he does a lot of things differently than me and Yihang do. So like X crosses, double X crosses, like the way he builds them is slightly different than how me and Yihang do it. So just watching him is like like mind blown.
Can you explain how it's different? What sort of combinations of moves or patterns is he seeing that you would not default to?
Definitely like me and Yihang do more block building stuff, but he does a lot of pseudo slots in general, but the way he can combine the pseudo slot and block building at the same time is better than what I can do, definitely. Like where where we would just wait, random scramble, like where we would build like it's just simple like this. Like there's this pair here,
Hmm.
and then like you want to put it here. Like we would just do that, but then he knows how to like do it misaligned like this, where you can put one corner from one pair and the other edge into the block. Like you don't, he's not bound by these like just doing just the pair. He can block build block build with pseudo pairs is what I've noticed, which is pretty
Okay.
advanced stuff. Yeah.
Okay. So he's doing X crosses, but he's doing X crosses with pseudo pairs. So are
Yeah,
you saying
yeah.
he's doing a pseudo X cross and then like aligning the cross and it becomes a normal X cross? Or he's making a pseudo pair and he keeps the pseudo pair into F2L and fixes it after like a second or third pair?
Fixes it after. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So he's doing
It's
pseudo
pretty crazy.
F2L and doing X crosses into pseudo.
Pretty much. It's like, yeah, so where we would normally just do like an X cross, you don't have to do anything. Like you do the X cross with the pseudo block, and you can just do whatever the hell you want to make the other pseudo pairs, you know? Like that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Wow.
Hmm.
Okay. I have not studied him yet. I've been down solving Yiheng stuff, and I've been learning a lot
Yeah.
of how to multi-slot, like multiple three movers together.
Hmm.
It's the most solid basics, but that's crazy that he's actually doing pseudo X cross consistently.
Yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. Yeah.
That's wild. So how is that affecting your solving right now? Because if you're learning to think through
Hmm.
solutions in a really new way, is it slowing you down at all? Or do you have so
Yeah.
much knowledge of how the cube works
Yeah.
that it's like it just kind of you just adopt it into the way you solve?
Mhm. This is one thing that also is convincing me that I'm starting to improve again, is that this is the first time in like 2 years where I'm actually starting to get a little slower, like in terms of my
Hmm.
actual solving. Yeah. This is the first time I've actually like tried to incorporate new stuff, and I've been getting like point 0.2, point 0.3 slower right now, just because like just trying to incorporate those like crazy finger tricks or yeah, or just look ahead more and incorporate like wild solutions. Like it definitely is like harder than what I'm used to, but because I'm getting slower, I'm convinced that this is the direction I need to go in. Yeah.
Huh. That's awesome.
Hmm.
What is your measuring stick for a daily session? So when you finish a session, you go, that was a good session or that was a bad session. For
Hmm.
me, if I do an average of 100 and it's more than point 0.2 off of what like my last two or three have been, I'm like, that was horrible. Because I'm improving so quickly right now. But you just said you haven't improved for like 2 years. So
Yeah.
what is good? What is bad? How much time variance is that? How many solves are you looking at for that?
I mean, like, it's not that I haven't improved. It's just like I've only probably improved like point 0.4 over the last 2 years. Like, it's
Yeah.
just from purely doing solves, right? So over that time, with very slow improvement, I would say like, yeah, point two's pretty good. I would say point 0.3 for me. Yeah, like,
On what? An average of 100 or an average of a
yeah, just like
thousand?
if probably 100 because I don't really get to doing averages 1,000 very much. Like, yeah, just if I do an A100 yesterday, I don't want today's A100 to be point 0.3 slower. Yeah, that's
Okay,
good.
cool. So given all of this,
Hmm.
another thing I'm curious about is There was this video that Tingman made where, he went to the GAN
Yeah.
SSL and everyone was in the video. And
Hmm.
there's this clip that I've probably watched 100 times of Gang drilling his ZBLLs like an absolute
Hmm.
machine, and just
Yeah.
you and Timon and like your jaws are all on the floor, just
Yeah,
like
we're
your
just
your
like,
mouth is
what?
hanging open.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then you kind of recover and you sit back in your chair and you're like, it's not to the point where these kids are unbeatable yet, bro. Like I can probably still
Yeah.
beat these kids, right? Do you
Hmm.
still think that? And like, what changes do you
Yeah.
need to make, if any, to make this happen? Because you just told, like, it sounds like you're at the point where you're having to do hard things that are making you slower.
Hmm. Yeah. No,
Um,
to be completely honest, right now it would be very, very ambitious to say I can beat them. At this very moment, I'm not gonna say that, okay? But
okay.
if you were to ask me in 2017 if I could be faster than Max Park, I would have undoubtedly said eventually yes. And it happened, right? So
Yeah.
even though he was seconds faster than me in 2017. So the margin between me and those Chinese solvers is way smaller than that. So as of right now, no, I am not beating them. But, anything can happen and yeah, I wouldn't count myself or any other Western solvers out of it. Yeah.
Sure.
Hmm.
So then what would a good world championship look like to you? Like if you magically
Hmm.
in February, 2 months from the day we're
Yeah.
recording this, you got a round against all the top Chinese kids. And the what like
Hmm.
everybody from the top 25 was all in one round. Where
Hmm.
would you place among them and you're like, I'm happy with that? Are you losing to like the top 3 Chinese kids? How are you placed relative to people? Because you
I
basically just
think,
said I don't think I'll ever
yeah.
be number one.
But
Okay.
if I were to say, I think top four would be good for me. I think it would be ambitious to say I can beat Yufang consistently, but top four would be very good for me, I would say. Yeah.
Okay, so you think it's Yihang and then and Gang and Yufeng ahead of you, and then you and Timon are like at fifth, fourth, fifth.
Pretty much. Honestly, I think if we were to do it like right now, I think Schwani would beatEhen consistently, to be honest.
I think so too. I think so too.
Yeah. But you never know. Maybe in February it could change. But yeah.
Okay, cool. You don't use full ZB, right? And you know
No.
VLS. Do you know full ZB?
I know TUL sets and like some random cases from the other sets, but I
Okay.
don't know full ZB.
If you could rewind to 2017, like we just said,
Hmm.
would you learn full ZB? Because at this point you're so committed to CFOP that you're not switching. But
Hmm.
is that a point of regret for you, or do you still have faith in the path that you're on for 3x3?
I think it's like a you can look at it two ways where I would definitely be more equipped with ZB and my solutions would be more efficient, but I think using CFOP the way I did, it allowed me to develop my TPS more than I would have with ZB. So I think in the end, my solve peak speeds would be similar because I would have less TPS but lower move count if I switched to ZB that early. But now I have like pretty high TPS, but my move count is pretty high. So it's like it kind of evens out eventually, I think. Yeah.
Hmm.
'Cause it would have been hard for me to develop the TPS I have if I did ZB just because the algs themselves are pretty awkward to do, as well as the
Yeah.
ZBLS are pretty awkward. So it's just like it would have been a lot more work to develop the TPS. Like I didn't even try to really develop TPS. It kind of just happened naturally just because of the CFOP method. But I think I would have deliberately had to develop it if I were to use ZB 1 year after I started cubing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm curious to talk about developing TPS. Do you think intentionally about how to develop your TPS, or is it something that has come with time?
I think it's come with time to an extent. I remember when I was really young, I used to like drill my PLLs and OLLs a lot just to make sure I was fast at those. But I think that helped no more than just solving helped me. Like solving helped me just as much because your TPS during F2L has nothing to do with how fast you can do an OLL PLL, right? That's just
Yeah.
pure knowing how to sequence the moves to where you can turn them better. Yeah.
So,
Hmm.
do you think then that it is equally important to train your peak TPS as your comfortable TPS then? Or do you think that training one of those is more beneficial?
I think
So,
train your peak TPS. I think I think peak TPS is more important because that that like establishes your ceiling to how fast you can turn. Whereas you can turn comfortably as much as you want, but you have to develop the peak TPS to where
yeah.
like one day your peak TPS will become your comfortable TPS. You know what
Hmm.
I mean? But if you
Yes.
don't develop that, then you'll be stuck at a lower point, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, that does make
Hmm.
sense. Let's go back to something you said earlier. You're learning a lot of awkward but important new finger tricks with
Hmm.
using more fingers to do U turns, pointer fingers to do F moves, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
How complex are you willing to go with finger tricks for you personally? And what would you advise newer people? If peak TPS is important, how do you think about complex finger tricks versus simple finger tricks with turning speed?
I think just go as complex as you want, really. Like the way the reason why they do these pointer middle finger combinations is so that you don't have to move your finger back to hit the layer. You
Hmm.
hit it and then you move it with your middle finger as well. Or you hit it with the middle, your pointer's already up, you move the F with the pointer. Like the peak TPS, even though they're more complicated, it is conducive to good TPS. More peak TPS because you don't have to do the extra movement of the fingers. So
Hmm.
I feel like for me and many other cubers, maybe just go as complex as you want because in the end, it'll help you, I guess.
Yes. So you're saying that you think that by training your maximum speed, whatever finger tricks would help you do that better, that also will help your average consistent speed turning.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay, cool. That was my theory, but I'm not as fast as you. Very few people are. So I was curious what you had to say since you're a bit more qualified on that point of things.
Hmm. Yeah.
So another thing that I wanted to ask you about is inspection. There was some, I remember what video I heard you say this. It was in your reconstruction of the three that you got at NAC in the
Yeah.
region relay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you just casually were like, I saw this, but I couldn't see two pairs, so I switched, and then I saw two pairs. We need to talk about inspection. How
Okay.
deep do you inspect before you have to start thinking about it? How many moves is it like, I get it. I can see that as easily as I can see a U or a U prime. And at what point do you have to start going, okay, this corner is going to go here, and then it doesn't move, and then it goes here?
I think it's at two pairs where I actually have to start physically tracking where the third and fourth pairs are going to be. But like if
Wow.
I just look at the cube, probably in like 2 or 3 seconds, like two pairs done. Like that's just how it is. Yeah.
That's
But
incredible.
then but then after those 2 or 3 seconds where I establish the first two pairs I'm gonna do, then I'm gonna have to be like, okay, I do this move, this piece is unaffected, but then I do U2, D2, it's gonna move back here. That's when I have to start thinking about where the third pair and fourth pair is gonna be. But yeah, there is really no thinking for the first two pairs. Yeah, I would say. Yeah.
That is wild. So you just see it. The first two, it just comes.
No, and the thing is, I remember like struggling to do the first pair only, like when I was really young. And I think what happened to me is like I just like you just have to force yourself to be like, okay, let me just. It was like when I was young, I would have to think about the first pair, right? But as you
Sure.
start
Yeah.
thinking about it, like you have to first track where the first pair is going to be. And once you do that for a while, you'll be like, all right, I kind of have an idea. So then you can start thinking really hard about where the second pair is going to be. You know what I mean? So it's just like a process. It's like I was never like I wasn't born with this like crazy inspection
Sure.
or whatever, right?
Absolutely.
Like,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Oh, it's
So yeah.
totally a progression, but I was really
Hmm.
curious where that barrier is for you. And the fact that it's that far into the solve is wild to me. At what
Yeah. I
point
mean, like, yeah.
were when did you start like consistently getting that for cross plus one? Do you remember how fast you were when that was not a 2 second pickup, but I can do
Hmm.
this in inspection. I'm over that hump.
Well, if I think back to like my 2017 days where I was like sub 8, 20. I think during that time was when I really started to be able to do it comfortably in competition. but I still sometimes like even when I was sub 8, I would still kind of just be too lazy and just do the cross and see what happens.
Okay,
But I would
so
say like yeah.
I just want to double check this. You were sub 8, not planning cross plus 1, and as we sit here today, you instinctively can plan cross plus 2. Like it's not that there's no hope for you at that point. It's just you need more time and experience with the cube.
Yeah, and it's also just being like willing to just try harder in comp. Like when I was just a little kid, like it's so it's so bad to say, but I was literally just too lazy to physically like track the piece. So I'm just like, I'm gonna just start,
Yeah.
but yeah, nowadays I'm a little more disciplined, I'm an adult, so I can sit there and be like, all right, let me just actually try and track. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Wow. Do you think that if your goal was to either two look or one look all your solves, it is
Yeah.
best to be color neutral, dual color neutral, or single color?
Oh, okay. Okay, insanely good question. If you
Because
were,
my
yeah.
theory is like it's best to be single color if your goal is to one look or two look, because the time you would spend picking is defeating the time you would spend inspecting all the way to your ZBLL.
Hmm.
But I'm also not.
I totally agree with you. And the reason why is because I am not color neutral on 4x4. I only do, I only start with the yellow cross edges on 4x4, usually, unless the white ones are really good. But because of that, I find like I can literally plan so far in 4x4 just because I know what I'm doing already.
Mhm.
My mind is not cluttered with the problem of a choice. So I just can go right into it. Whereas for 3x3, maybe by looking for like 5 seconds, I can find a more efficient first two pairs on red as opposed to white. But by doing that, it's harder to go all the way through full F2L when I already have spent that much time deciding to go to red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have to talk about big cubes, but follow up. Do
Okay.
you think there is a place for somebody to choose to do that at a world class level? Do you think there is somebody where it would be the best decision for them to be one color and for their competitive edge to be I inspect all the way through F2L? Like Gang says he wants to do this, right? Do you think that's something you should like someone should shoot for in competition, or is that a little beyond realistic human limit?
I think it won't get you anything because Shwani is doing full F2L with two colors right now. At this very moment,
That's
he can
true.
do full
Okay.
F2L with two colors. So maybe someone can do, it would be more
Wait,
productive
wait,
to
wait.
say someone
Hold
do
up,
three
hold up, hold up, hold
colors.
up.
Yeah.
He's doing full F12 with two colors and he's doing his pseudo X crosses and planning the whole thing?
Yeah. Yeah. No, this
What?
kid is insane. This kid is insane, man.
What?
This kid is, no, no, no. So I always say this like, the, sure, the ZV recognition, whatever, is impressive, but the most impressive thing about Shwani solving is his inspection depth. Like that is so freaking cool to watch. Like, yeah, that's definitely the most impressive part, and people don't even understand, I think, how good he is at that. Yeah.
I did not know that.
Hmm.
The last I heard anything about that, the most recent thing I could find on the internet was, well,
Hmm.
that's not owned by China, was him saying in some YouTube video, I can inspect all the way through F2L if I choose easy solutions.
Hmm. That's
But if he
definitely
can
true, but
inspect full
yeah.
F2L and he's doing pseudo X crosses,
I mean, like watching his solves, you can definitely tell some of those complicated solutions he is seeing to the fourth pair because sometimes the corner's hidden in the back left, but he knows what orientation it is without rotating there, and that's how you know he's planning the fourth into the fourth pair, right? So yeah, I mean definitely sometimes it's three pairs because the ZVLS is hard to track, like insanely hard to track. But yeah, he's really good at like finding the optimal start and then kind of tracking it from there. Yeah.
that's unbelievable.
Hmm.
He has to be the final boss. Like, there's no way somebody gets better than him anytime soon.
Oh, I don't think so. Yeah, final boss definitely.
Wow. Wow. All right. I'm impressed. I'm really impressed. I did not know he had achieved that. Shoot, man. That's crazy. So what is your limit in inspection right now? Because you said two pairs come right away. What are you planning up
Yeah.
through in a solve actively?
I think without like I tried this other day like to have unlimited inspection, and I can do full up to like every time. But sometimes it takes me like 45 seconds to do it, right? And that's completely useless in comp. So I would say in comp, like 3 pairs, good scramble where there's like a 2x2 block, 4 pairs possibly, but I would say like on any scramble, I can probably get 3 pairs out of it. Yeah.
Okay. I had so many people ask me to ask you that, and
Oh,
the fact that
really? Yeah.
you're the fact that you were just like, I can do full F2L in like 45 seconds, which is useless. To me, that's ridiculous. Because I remember
It's
like
hard though.
a year and a half ago, Timon saying things like, I would spend all like 10 minutes inspecting full F2L. And now you're out here saying I can do it in under a minute consistently.
I mean, like once I understood like sometimes the things I plan are not what I actually do in a solve because I'm doing like I'm just solving the cross first just because it's easy to track the next 4 pairs when the cross is already solved. You know what I mean? Whereas in a solve, I would do like the X cross and then 2 pair multi slot, which is harder to track the fourth pair through the X cross and the 2 pair multi slot
Yes.
rather than just doing the cross and just like figuring out the pairs in your
Yeah.
head, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, but I mean, like once, like I remember in one of the interviews, it was like Shwani's mom or whatever. She's like, yeah, he plans like simple solutions, as you said. And once I figured that out, it's like, oh, it's like planning F2L is not crazy hard, but just doing actually good solutions and planning full F2L is pretty hard. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the wall I'm against now is I can plan like a pair and a half to 2 pairs, and I'm not that fast because I choose pairs and solutions that I can see easily. And so
Yeah.
I'm having to decide, do I stick with this or do I commit to doing optimal X crosses now and then roll, like, get used to that? But that's me at my very mid-level brain having that decision. You're talking about the absolute highest level having to decide that.
I think it would be good for you to just like keep going with the 2 pairs suboptimally because it's good training to make your brain like track even though it's not what you would really want to do. It would make it easier to plan X crosses in the future optimally if you just just go through this hard process of like tracking the hard combinations of moves. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's helpful. I'll keep doing it. That's what I've been solving with, and it's more fun to solve with because I can look ahead better, and it's more fun to plan because I feel like I can actually plan it. So it's a win all the
Yeah.
way around. Okay, big
Nice,
cubes.
nice.
I want to talk about big
Thank
cubes.
you.
Um, how far are you planning in 4x4? How far do you plan during inspection?
I mean, like in a good solve, like I can get like 2 or 3 cross edges. I feel like I've never I have a really hard time getting past the third cross edge just because of the way the centers work. They're constantly moving as you do the cross. So to track the centers through the first 3 edges is basically impossible for me, but I can recall solves where I've had the 3 edges done in my head like before I start the solve. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. That makes OLL parity avoidance seem completely pointless. I didn't realize people could see that far ahead.
Okay, I mean, I think in someday in the future, like OLO parity will be very good, but for now, I mean, like personally, me, I'm just not good enough to like, and I've never even tried to learn it, so that's something hard for me to transition to because I'm so like ingrained with my own technique, I guess. But yeah, maybe in the future, people better than me will be able to do that. Yeah.
How much do you practice big cubes relative to 3x3? Lifetime and right now.
Uh, I mean, lifetime, definitely 6x6 and 7x7. I've not really practiced much at all, and I've definitely gotten a lot slower. Um, I practice similar amounts, like 4x4 and 5x5. Definitely 3x3 I practice the most, but 4x4 and 5x5 is up there too, I feel like. Yeah. So in terms of like percentages, maybe like I practice, if we were to break 4x4 and 5x5 and 3x3 up into 100% scale, I do like 70% 3x3 and 30% the other two. Yeah.
I love how you started by saying it's pretty similar. I only practice 3x3
Okay,
twice as
yeah.
much as the other two events combined.
It feels similar. It feels more similar than it is. I feel like I could practice 3x3 a lot more than I could like that I'm doing now. I could just do fully 3x3 and I'll be happy with it, but I want to still do other cubes. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel like your big cube sessions are longer or shorter than a equivalently timed 3x3 session? For me, if I do an hour of 3x3, it feels like a really long time compared to an hour of 7x7 because I stop and start the timer more times. The feedback loop is shorter, so I perceive it as longer. Does that happen to you at all? One way or the other?
Uh, to be honest, I don't really do long enough sessions to where that comes into play. Like the most solves I do at a time for big cubes and 3x3 is probably like 50 to 100. And then I start to get tired. I'm like, okay, I'm putting it away for now. Like that is what I do. It definitely feels longer. Yeah, it feels longer now that I think about it. Like I can go by 3x3 and it feels it's very fun and very quick, but I'm definitely worse at 4x4 and 5x5, so it feels like harder to do. Yeah.
Okay, now I'm really concerned. Real talk, how much did you practice growing up? How many hours would you cube during peak COVID or whatever your true, most grind season was over the course of a week or a
Yeah,
day?
a few hours a day during COVID. During year 4 hours for, and that was sustained through 2 years, right, while we are in quarantine. I did that, and then it kind of started to slow down as I got into high school and I had to deal with like studying and stuff. That's really annoying, but you got to do what you got to do. But yeah, peak 4 hours a day. Peak 4 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm toast. My wife is in the kitchen. She just goes, "You're toast."
Wait, why? Wait, what? Why?
Because I feel like I have to practice a lot, like 3, 4, 5 hours a day to have a feeling of progress. And it seems like you're able to make very solid progress on, 100 solves in a session, a few
Well,
hours a
I
day
think you can just
consistently.
stay consistent at it. Stay
Yeah.
consistent at it. I think you'll find similar, because it's like it builds on itself. Like you're not starting at the same point the next session you do. So you're even though it seems like not much time, it's it's like building off itself in a way that it improves at a steady rate rather than just like. Well, I mean, if you get like super fast and it starts to slow down, but like during COVID, I was like steady improvement just because I I made sure to practice efficiently as well as just remembering what I practiced the day before.
Yeah. Consistency and making sure your practice is high quality.
Hmm.
At what point does the
Definitely.
volume stop mattering, do you think? Because I know these Chinese kids talk about I do 300, 400, 500, 600 solves a day.
Yeah.
Is that a preference thing, or is that like actually just you would be faster if you did more work? You just chose to not do more.
I think it's you would be faster if you do more. Straight up. Like there's a reason why like Yihang and Xuan are the best because they work the hardest. Like that's just the world is fair. The world is fair. Like you get what you deserve, and that's not. It's like it's the same in cubing. I wish
Hmm.
I could have practiced more, but I wish I could practice. Yeah, I wish I could practice more when I was really young, but I just had to, you know, study. That's something I had to do, and do I regret it? No, because I mean, I felt like I made good use of my high school career, but yeah, I feel like I would have been faster. Little, okay, a little bit faster. Not like a crazy amount, but a little bit faster if I did more straight up practice. Yeah. Mhm.
What does the next stage of your life look like? Do you know? Because you keep talking about studying, like, dang it, I wasn't cubing. Like, does cubing play a role in your life going forward? Is there a career path that you're looking at? Are you just kind of going to college as like, I'm figuring it out right now? Because you seem like a super high achieving, driven kind of person.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you. I mean, yeah, I will always cube. I will always cube for the rest of my life. Like I just love cubing so much. Like it's just the way like it like clears my head. Like when I'm in big competitions, like I get a clear head like no other avenue in my life when I'm just sitting there on the head-to-head finals, just like I need to get this time. Like that mental
Yeah.
clarity I get in those positions is something I can never experience anywhere else. So I'll always cube. But yeah, I mean in the future I'll try and practice like a little bit, but unfortunately, I just so right now I'm studying financial economics at Columbia, and the culture is very oriented towards like investment banking and that sort of
I was
career
gonna say,
path.
yeah.
So
Let me know how your cubing career goes when you get your first internship next year.
yeah, that is definitely gonna be rough for the Cuban career. So I'm so glad I got the NAR like now before I had to do all that stuff. Like yeah, that was pretty huge for me. But yeah, cubing will definitely be a part of my life forever, but might slow down for a little bit as I'm trying to establish myself in those like hyper competitive firms. And
Are you
yeah,
thinking about
yeah.
like the investment banking high finance route?
Yeah, I mean, I've been interested in finance since like seventh grade. I've been investing for a while, read tons of books about it, so it's just something I've naturally been drawn to. And like being in New York, I feel like all the stars are pointing towards me going down that
Yeah,
career path, at least for
yeah.
now. So yeah, we'll see. It is a very, very hard career to be in. So
Extremely,
yeah,
extremely.
I know, I know the stress and the sacrifice I'd have to make to go down that path at a high level, but I think honestly, I'm willing to get it done. Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, if you're looking at the next few years in the early investment banking blender, cubing is on pause pretty much
Yeah.
entirely.
Like I was thinking about that, and I'm like going up to All Stars. I'm like, oh my God, like please let me just get NAR now, so I don't have to
Yeah,
worry about it. And then
yeah.
boom, I was so relieved.
Is that
Yeah.
the crowning achievement in your mind? That's the capstone. You don't think it'll get
Oh
higher than
yeah.
that?
I mean, maybe it'll get higher, but like not in the near future. Like for now, that's my best achievement by far. Like I've won NAC and whatnot, but just the trials and tribulations I had to go through to get that record was like far more than I've ever had in any other cubing like thing. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, for now, by far my greatest achievement, I would say. Yeah.
How do you think through the whole not performing in competition for forever thing? You
Hmm.
probably have the longest run at a major record of
Yeah.
anyone in cubing, like trying and being
Hmm.
capable and not getting it.
Yep. Yep. It's just like I always talked about it in interviews or just with my cubing friends or just by myself when I'm thinking to myself. It was always a when I get NAR, never an if. Okay. So the fact that I kept it a when just made all these stupid plus twos, all these lockups out of it. It's just a part of the process because
Yep.
it's always when, it's never an if I get it. Because once that if starts to creep in your head, boom, it's so much harder to get it done. But
Yep.
I've just never let that if come into my head. It's always a when, and I always just felt like it's gonna happen eventually. So, might as well just learn from these fails and just move forward. Yeah.
That is such a good mindset.
Yeah.
That is so cool that
Yeah.
you've
It was
already
pretty
done it.
productive. Yeah. It was hard though. It was hard to be honest. Being a young kid and having to go through all those stupid like plus twoing out of it and whatever. Like, yeah, I had to definitely do some reflecting and be like, all right, like, is this really worth it to get this record? And I just thought about it for a while. And like, I need to get this. Like,
Yeah.
I will not be satisfied unless I get this. So I just adopted like the mentality that I'm gonna get it eventually, and a few years later, it happened. Yeah.
Well, now just hearing that mindset and seeing the proof of it, you'll make it through the investment banking first few years for sure.
Oh,
I mean,
well, that's
you're gonna
ambitious thinking, but I appreciate it. Thank you.
dude, it's the same principle, just like five times the hours you put into cubing per day.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
so who knows? Maybe you'll crack under the stress. Probably not once you get into the swing of it.
Hey, we'll
Um,
see. You never know. Hard stuff. Yeah.
yeah, it's cool though hearing you say that out loud because
Hmm.
uh, when I started posting about what I want to do, a lot
Hmm.
of people were like, "You're delusional. You're crazy. It'll never happen." But you have the same kind of mindset, and you had a
Hmm.
similar time horizon of like, "It's fine. It'll happen. When it happens, it'll be great. For now, I'm just getting there."
Hmm.
You had the same kind of like
Yeah.
thinking, the same kind of driver. It was just a higher goal, and you started earlier. but it's cool that it's the same kind of principle.
Yeah, I think yeah, I try to be humble in interviews and stuff, which I think was productive for me for like the public reputation. And I'm honestly like a humble guy, but sometimes you have to be a little bit like delusional because that allows you to like foresee cool things happening that you might not be like comfortable with visualizing if you're only being realistic. I think
Yes,
to a certain level, delusion is like, yeah, you have to be a little bit delusional to be good at something. You know what I mean? Like,
for sure.
yeah, just yeah, I just had to. Sometimes when I was a little kid, I got a little bit too like too crazy in the head, so I had to always make sure I'm grounded, stay humble. But yeah, I always made sure to have that high high goal I can strive for. You know?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's so so good. But what's cool is that you worked for it. It's only
yeah.
it's delusional, but if you back up delusion with consistent hard work,
Hmm.
that's where cool stuff happens.
Yes, definitely. I feel like that taught me a lot about myself too, just going through that whole process of trying to get that record. Like it taught me like, yeah, it honestly gave me confidence. Like no matter what I want to do, I can do it just because I went through that freaking hard process of getting that record.
Dude,
So
it is
yeah,
such a good story. If you tell the story right to anybody about all the fails and all the work you put
yeah,
in, it's
yeah.
like, yeah, this kid, if he decides when I accomplish this thing and you set that in your
Hmm.
mind, don't get in his way. That's super awesome, man.
Yeah, hope so. Yeah.
Time will tell, right?
Hmm.
How have your variety of pursuits, different hobbies, different things you enjoy, how have all of them shaped you as Matty in different ways? I think
Hmm.
most people would ask you, how do golf or how does painting impact cubing? But all of those, I'm guessing, have impacted you as a person a little bit.
Yeah, definitely cubing has affected me the most. Straight up, cubing has helped me the most just with from like social interactions, being able to handle myself in public, doing these interviews, just having to come up with things on the spot in my head and having to articulate them properly. That's something that cubing helped me with a lot. And golf was just helped by cubing. Like that's it. Golf. Only got good at golf, competitive golf, because of my ability to like, lock in, reach flow state, whatnot in competition. And it was just a fun thing to do, just be outside, Hawaii, air, hit a ball around and win stuff. That's always fun.
Yeah.
And painting, I mean, I don't know. Painting is something like I've just always been like good at. Like I feel like cubing, I wasn't like naturally like talented or whatnot, but painting, yeah, I've just been good at it. So it's just something I can always do without much effort and be like, damn, this is fun just to not try and have it just form a picture, Like that's something I can always fall back on when I'm like feeling stressed or whatever. Yeah.
That's so interesting because I would not have associated artistry with a Rubik's
Mm,
cubing, finance,
right.
investment banking minded person.
Hmm.
But you're saying that's the thing that you instinctively.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been into art as a little kid, and I've always had like my art teachers be like, "Oh, wow, you're pretty good." So just that feedback loop of being people telling me I'm good, I get better. So
Yeah.
it's just a way to get out of the competitive like vibes. Sometimes it gets a little tough when you're a kid, like to have to go to all these huge competitions and perform. So it was a good way to just de-stress. Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me about your family, man. Like if you're in Hawaii, you've had to
Yeah.
travel for all these comps, so your family must have been on
Hmm.
board from an early age, and you're
Yeah.
awesome at everything, but you don't develop this sort of worldview and work ethic without
Hmm.
parents who can shape it.
Oh, yes, for sure. I'm very grateful for my parents. They believe in me so much and like they just tell me that like even when I was going for NAR, they were part of the reason I was able to keep that mentality. Like they were like, "You're gonna get it. Like you're gonna get it. Just keep going." And like having those people around to just tell you like instill confidence in you and have people believe in you, that's very important, I feel like. And they made a lot of sacrifice to send me to these huge competitions. Yeah. Great parents and yeah, they really the reason I'm confident in myself is because they're confident in me. I feel like it's
Hmm.
like a
Yes.
it's a compounding process to where like you surround yourself with people like that, and it's hard not to believe in yourself. Yeah.
Right. Right. It's
Hmm.
a really weird phenomenon where someone else believes in you so much that you stop
Hmm.
caring if more people than them believe in you.
Oh yeah.
Like if you
Yeah.
start life with a core group of people who deeply love you and believe in you and care for you,
Hmm.
past that point, you're like, I can go. I can do it. I'm good.
Yeah.
And
It's important.
it's such a blessing that you had that from
Hmm.
zero.
Definitely. Definitely.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Super, super cool. Um, do you have any things that you're wanting to steer the conversation toward?
I think I can give you like we were talking about like future cubing, whatever, right?
Yeah.
I was like reflecting on all the things I have to do. I am not confident I will reach number one in the world. Ah, that is going to be extremely hard, and the sheer amount of effort, like it's okay. I'm confident, like if I put in effort, maybe I could
Yeah.
become the world
Yeah.
number one. But people don't understand. People don't understand how good Yiheng and Shawnee are. Like the amount of work they put in, the amount of stuff they've learned, the amount of times they can use hard stuff in the solve is so cool. Like it's just so cool to watch. So I think a long-term goal, or a long-term achievable goal for me in the next few years is definitely top three WR. I got there in 2022 with a 525 average when it was Timon and Max at 508.
Yeah.
And I honestly feel like, yeah, with a good average, I could get there again. So we talk about setting like high goals. My high goal was NAR. I already got that. Like, where do I go now? It's probably that third ranking is like not realistic, but also not unachievable. So I think
Yeah.
that's what I have my mind set on right now. And if we talk about if I have any tips for you and how I see cubing in 2030 being for you to achieve your goals, I definitely think ZV is pretty cool for you to learn. And I think you should definitely learn those algs. But I feel like the most important thing for you to develop is TPS. And the reason why is because it's two things, TPS and inspection depth. Okay. Because I've been finding for me personally that training look ahead is more and more pointless. Because in some solves, I don't even have to look ahead because you just see all of F2L and inspection.
That's crazy. Because you're the
Right?
guy who has TPS. You are the TPS guy outside of like
Like,
Ruihang, and you're telling me
yeah.
that you have your look ahead is maxed out.
Sometimes, like, I'm like, why did I even train look ahead as a little kid? Because I'm not even using look ahead because I just do F2L from inspection. So I think the way you should train look ahead is definitely like last slot, last layer. That's the only thing that's like look ahead base. Because even Chwani has to look ahead from the ZBLS to the ZB, you know?
Yeah.
That's where you can cut a lot of time out. Especially like even just seeing the fourth pair like that. Like just scramble it with your eyes closed, start it and look at it right there, and then just go, right? Because then that will in 2030 that will be the important look ahead part of the solve, I would say. And in terms of TPS, so important. TPS is super important because like in 4 years, honestly, I don't think North America will even be close to what China can achieve, but everyone will definitely be top TPS solvers. Like you look at Yiheng, number one in the world. The reason why he's number one is he can turn so freaking fast that the ergonomics move count are like okay, not ergonomics, but move count is way less relevant than how fast he can turn. The turn
Yep.
speed
Yep.
is what carries people's solves. And I feel like turn speed will be more and more important as time progresses. Because if you look back at like 2010, right? People were really trying to get more efficient stuff. They're trying to people trying to learn like AUX sets like okay, maybe not 2010, 2015 like ZB and that kind of stuff that was really important. People didn't even care about TPS. But then you move further and further and the hardware gets better, the and F2L like concepts get more easy to finger trick. TPS becomes more and more important. I feel like that trend is going to keep going. So if you were
Mm.
to train, if I were to give you one thing to train to be like, okay, this is the most important thing to make like finals in the time period you want to make it is TPS. And TPS is important on big cubes too, because you said you wanted to make finals in the big cubes as well, right?
Yeah. Oh, and TPS is way more. ZB is super marginal. So this is
Yeah.
real talk. Right now, I'm extremely mid, and I want to take like the straightest line path from here. And I said major final, not world's final, because I
Yeah,
assume that in
major.
5 years, world's final will be essentially all Chinese people, minus
Oh
like
yeah.
one or two other people. But they're gonna crush completely.
Hmm.
But like I could
Hmm.
probably make like I don't know, NAC, Euros, Oceanics, something like that
Definitely. Yeah.
more doably. So if I want to get to that level in 5 years, do I mess with ZB? Because I'm learning the ZBLLs right now, and it's like this is gonna take me 6 months just to like start limping through solves with full ZB. Like it's deleting a year of progress for potential gain down the line. And you've come through this whole journey, and you have probably the best understanding of like where to go from here.
I think from my experience learning ZB during COVID times, I found it's it's not impossible to implement fast, I would say.
Mm.
With conscious effort, you can do it. So maybe okay, 5 years is such a long time. It's like
Yes.
it's
Oh, it's
crazy.
forever long. It's forever long.
Like the amount of you learn ZB in 6 months and you're gonna be proficient at it in a year. Like that gives you so much time just to practice with it. It just depends on what you want to do. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like if you weren't gonna do ZB, then you really have to focus on your F2L knowledge and your like specific cases that you can utilize in scrambles. You know, like super niche cases that you just get from looking at other people's solves, and you just have to internalize those and be able to pull them out randomly at a random scramble. So if you don't do ZB, that'll be important. But if you do ZB, I feel like yeah, you really have to work on the recognition because there's a lot of people that know full ZB, but they like I can still do recognition OLO PLO faster, you know, like then they can do recognition ZB. So you really have to work on that recognition plus TPS combo to get there. But I feel like even in 2030, the finals are not going to be that much faster than they are now. Like in terms of not worlds, worlds is going to be faster, way faster, but maybe like NAC, maybe like zero point 0.5 faster. So like 2024, probably like mid six, right? So maybe just six, like low sixes. Start globing low sixes and you'll have a good shot at it, I think. So I think ZB is a definitely like, it's not an easier route, but it's a safer route
Yeah. That
rather
was my
than,
thinking.
yeah, rather than having to like grind these niche F2L cases and work on your TPS so you can just burst OLO PLO. I think to get to 6.0, to get to 6.0 ZB is definitely pretty cool to use. Yeah, that's what I would say. Yeah.
Yeah. That was my thought process too, because if I'm going to do this, I want to have as certain of knowledge as I can that what I'm doing is going to be good. And time spent learning ZB is guaranteed to make me faster if I stick with it long enough to make the
Yeah.
recognition good. Whereas
Yeah.
like time studying walkthrough solves and niche solutions will question mark, but it's tricky.
The improvement is like you're not going to see it with the F2L stuff, but you're going to see it faster with ZB, I feel like. Because some
Okay.
of even my solves, I rarely use ZB now, but the Stewie did a thing, the solve breakdown guy, he did a thing where I said in an interview, like I only do ZB when my F2L is slow. And he looked through all my solves in the database and it was true. Like my F2L when I do ZB is like point 0.0 something slower than when I do OLO PLO. Just because ZB is so good at saving a solve for me. Like if I'm doing like weird solutions in F2L and I'm like, what is happening? I just solve edges, do ZB. It's like a high five, whatever. You know what I mean? But when I'm flowing and my F2L is like sub two, ZB just ruins my flow. Like it's just having to pause there and be like it just really does not help me get good solves, but it helps me minimize my bad solves at times.
Okay, this is
Yeah.
so interesting. You basically just said earlier in the interview that you can look ahead as far as you can, and the limiter is TPS. But on any solve where your look ahead is worse than your turning speed, you want to do
Yeah.
ZB.
Look ahead is worse than that. It's a combination of that and also it's just my headspace is like when I'm conscious enough to make that decision, I'm not solving well. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if I'm thinking enough to be like, oh crap, like let me just do a ZV real quick. Like that means I'm not in the zone. You know?
Right.
Like
Right.
so so yeah, but it's a cool thing, cool algs to know for me. Although I don't use them on my good solves, NAR, no ZVs. But they're cool algs to know for me just to make sure I can fall back on them if I need to. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Cool. Any advice on big cubes for going the distance for me?
I watched your like 5x5 AO50, some of it, and I think your 5x5 doesn't need much work in terms of solutions. It's just because your edge cycles are almost optimal. Like you're inserting an edge, you solve the edge, and then when you take out the edge to the top layer, you're putting in another relevant edge
Yeah.
to that
Yeah.
slot. So you can, yeah, that's really important, and you already know how to do that. So I feel like um, you just purely need to work on look ahead and just TPS. But TPS on big cubes is pretty hard to work on, I feel like. So maybe just do solves.
Yeah. I mean, that's
Because,
my plan is
yeah.
literally just start solving.
Because like looking at all your events, 5x5 is very like is one of your stronger events, I feel like. Just because your solutions are so close to like really good in terms of like the top solvers, it's very similar. Maybe you can work on your centers a little bit. Just watch like Nam. I know Nam, Centric Nam has a breakthrough. I mean, walkthrough solves a 5x5. Maybe watch that because he does some cool center stuff for Yao.
Yeah,
Do you do Yao for 6 and 7?
I do.
Okay, yeah, those are really harder, I feel like. And those are even more dependent on like look ahead and TPS. So in general, my tip for big cubes for you maybe would just be do more solves. Do a lot of
That's
solves. Yeah.
that's my plan is
Yeah.
like I've gotten critiques from really fast people like Mark Zimmerman. I sent
Hmm.
him 6, 7, and 5, and he's done like frame by frame, like wrote
Yeah.
me like 15 pages on a solve. Like, so here you did
Yeah.
this, and here you, and I was like, it was
Mhm.
crazy. And the takeaway is basically you're most of the way there. You have a couple
Yeah.
of dumb habits, like the direction you solve
Mhm.
things. You do a few suboptimal things, but your solutions are
Yeah.
good enough to be like essentially finals level. You just have to go
Yeah.
faster, which is just
Yeah.
solves
That's
in
that's what I
time.
was seeing as well. Yeah. So if I were to like distill all this into a couple sentences, for 3x3, TPS is the most important while also working on your inspection depth. And for big cubes, do a lot of solves until you don't pause anymore. Boom. That's it.
Cool. That's the plan. I'll get back to you.
Mhm.
Yeah. When you say TPS on 3x3, my problem is I feel like that means look ahead because I can't look
Mhm.
ahead faster than I'm turning on my 3x3 solves right now. Like the problem is that I can't find
Uh,
stuff. Your
okay.
your problem is backwards from mine.
Okay, that makes sense. So for you then, while you're still trying to track like um like first pair or second pair, maybe do a little bit of slow solves. I don't like slow solves because they sometimes make you comfortable with turning slower because they're slow solves. But those are really important for look ahead as well. So do a little bit of look ahead and also just have your cube and your like PL or I guess you're doing ZB now. Like as you learn algs, try and like drill your ZBs just as fast as you can. Like don't care if you lock up, like just just go as
I'm
fast as
still doing
possible.
I'm still doing P-level time attacks. Like I want to
Okay,
get
yeah,
those
yeah.
to sub 20. I'm like 23 on my
Sub
P-level time
20.
attacks right now.
Sub
I
20
want
is
to
pretty
push.
hard,
I
but
want to get
yeah.
this faster.
Yeah, if you can get sub 20, then your TPS is good. So then once you get sub 20, you have to work on look ahead, and that's just slow solves. So it's a balance between working on look ahead with slow solves and being able to bust out your peak TPS on actual solve. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Hmm.
Do lots of solves on big cubes, finish ZB, inspection depth, and
I
turn as
think,
fast as
yeah,
I can.
I think you have to reevaluate your ZB 6 months from now. Are struggling, if you really are struggling and you feel like um, if your recognition is not your turning, the turning is really like doesn't matter. You can improve your turning, but if your recognition is hard, especially with like ZBLS to ZBL transition, like even for me, that's like insanely hard because I never practiced it before. So if you feel like that's hard and it's not improving for a few months, start looking at those F2L cases. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. Start
Like,
considering
just,
other options.
just in case, because you already know PLO, OLO. You already have all the tools you need. ZB is cool to have, but if you're really struggling, then maybe prioritize the F2L. Just go through, go through random solves, WR averages from people, just look at them. Because that's what I used to do. And that's what I'm starting to do now. That's why I feel like I'm getting better. But like a few years ago, I think the video I used to watch was a lot of Max Park solves I would watch the breakdown of. And then also Timon's, just whoever was good. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And
Yep.
from that, then you can build your own stuff. But it's important to have kind of like a base knowledge and you pick up these random cases. And although it may seem like these random cases, you'll never use them again, like they come up. So once you have like hundreds of these random cases, you get a really big like mental bank of tricks. Because that's all F2L is. It's just tricks to skip moves. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like not even in terms of multi-slots, just like in the cross and first
Hmm.
pair. Like there's so
Yes.
many things
Yes.
you can do. Yeah. So
The Yi-Hang down solves have
Z
been teaching
yeah.
me so much of that, where it's like I would have
Oh
never have
yeah.
thought to build a block this way, but that's a great way
Hmm.
of doing it.
Yeah, I think watching Yihang is especially good for learning how to set up multi-slots because
Yes.
his awareness of the second and third pair while doing his X cross allows him to alter his solution in order to place the second and third pair to where you can multi-slot it. And that's
Yeah.
pretty cool to watch. So and yeah, so Yihang is good for multi-slots. You can watch Schwani for the start of the solve. His his X crosses, double X crosses, those are optimal, like very optimal. Like just watching it is like super inspiring because it's like wow, like these are like like children, and they're just like their mind is so advanced. It's a cool
Yeah.
thing to see because just side note, like cubing is really cool because it's one of the first things where the literal like elementary schoolers are the best. Like maybe in chess had a few of those prodigies, but there were still like old men that were grandmasters and really good. But in cubing, like the top three in the world are all super, super young kids. And I think it's pretty cool to watch to see like it's an interesting thing to study in the future. Like why did this happen? You know what I mean? Like what led to these
Yeah.
kids dominating? It's pretty cool to see.
It has to be some mixture of hard work, like you said, but also
Hmm.
just the plasticity of their brain. Like how
Hmm.
when young kids learn a language, they just learn the language differently because their brain
Yeah.
can absorb it differently. They have to be like their brain has to be so moldable to processing the cube in a way that an adult just can't. The way that I'm going to have to
Yeah.
get fast is different than the way a 3-year-old starting in China would. Even if we put in
Hmm.
equivalent hours, our brains will just react differently.
Yeah. I think another side note. Like I specifically remember how I used to think when I was a little kid, and it's just like I started when I was 10, which is like older than Schwani is now, right? But even when I was 10, like I remember just being able to just look at a solution and just internalize it immediately. You know what I mean? But sometimes now I have to go over it a couple times. It's just like the ability to keep the stuff in your brain is what they have, and I think that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Any final thoughts for us here? We've been going for a little while. Nah.
Nah, not much.
Okay, sounds good. Well, one last question that I ask
Yeah.
everybody is what aspect of cubing gives you the deepest joy?
Oh, definitely making new friends in the community. No matter how much like joy I get from like, getting PRs, winning comps, whatever, like just the community building and seeing all my friends like grow up with me and just, we all have these separate things we like to do and we all can come together in these competitions and just cube is pretty cool. Like to see, I mean, like one, the friend group that comes to mind is like me and these PNW guys, like the Square Oneers and like all those other guys. Like we started competing together when we were like 13, and now we're all like freshmen in college, and it was really cool to see like the community grow in the time that we were there, and then see how they like their love for Square One shaped the PNW culture where everyone likes Square One there now,
Yeah.
and like and like meeting new people at Worlds, meeting people all around the world, getting to study these Chinese prodigies up close is so cool at competitions, and yeah, definitely the community aspect is the most like you can win all the competitions you want, but I feel like if I didn't have the friends I had in cubing, I wouldn't have had much joy, even though I was getting PRs and winning.